Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Toma-talk with my co-host Nick and our special guest host, Braves on deck, Tyler Redmond. How you doing, man?
Doing well, doing well. Happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you as always, man. So what's going on with you, Nick?
Oh, you know me. Just living the dream. As
All right,
always.
fellas, and same here. Actually, I'm on vacation away from my job, so having a good day. But speaking of good times and good days, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Huge shout out to this video sponsor, BetUS. It's 2022 and tons of people are joining the online betting craze, and one of the best places to do that is BetUS. They offer live betting, fast payouts, and even betting on the go with their mobile app. And if you use promo code Toma-talk when you sign up, then you will get a 125% deposit match bonus up to $2,500 on your first deposit. That's $2,500 worth of free money. And like I always say, if it's free, it's for me. So go to BetUS and use our promo code Tomatalk, that's Tomatalk, Tomatalk, or click on the link in the description below to get your offer today.
And we're back. All right, Tyler. So we just recently went through a massive, just horrible series against the Mets. What do you think led to that?
So, the most obvious problem is the strikeouts. We actually talked about that on my channel. I talked about it for, I want to say right after game one, maybe even before the series ever started. And to be honest with you, when I started doing research for that video, it started out as research for blown saves. You know, like what could
Wow.
blown saves be a problem? And then it was, well, yeah, it's a problem. You know, like it's happened a good bit.
Oh,
When,
yes.
losing games after the seventh inning has happened a ton for the Braves.
Tyler,
So
wouldn't
they
you
don't
say
have,
probably, I would say at least maybe 15 games this season we've blown.
oh yeah, easily. They
Yeah.
were leading. They're leading with blown saves. They had 19.
I was
So-
literally saying, what was it? Was it the last video that we did or the one before that where I was going, the Braves really need to get some better closing pitchers?
Was it the one where we had it going in the eighth and then lost
Almost
Phillies
lost it?
right before the Mets.
Or was
No,
it
no.
when we lost
it?
it?
We lost it.
Okay.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So right after that, I was like, okay, the Braves have the most blown saves in the league. So let's talk about that, right? Then I was like, let me look at the strikeouts. I just happened to look at it, and we're leading the league in strikeouts too. So not only are we leading the league in blown saves, which by the way, if we were league average, we would have been leading the NL East had we not had as many blown saves as we did. And if we
Right.
didn't have as many strikeouts, who knows where we would be. So, I look at that. I look at this series with the Mets, and I break down the numbers. I said tonight on the on my show that there was 57 strikeouts in those 5 games. That is equal to 27 outs a game would be equal to 2 games plus some with 57 strikeouts. So that's 2 games out of 5 worth of strikeouts alone. You can say what you want about the Mets being lucky. I know there's been some conversation about that, and sure, they had a lot of things go their way. But when you put the ball in play, good things happen, and good things are happening for New York. I hate to say it, but
Well-
that's where the Braves are at.
They're not the same team that we normally come up against about this time of year. And they've got a veteran manager who knows how to run the show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they
Showalter's
got
no joke.
Oh no, absolutely not. I also think they got Jacob deGrom at the right time. I mean, they have a very good staff. They got Scherzer, who's a future Hall of Famer. deGrom, who is probably the best pitcher in baseball when he's healthy. This year he's healthy the second half of the year. So
Well, see,
you know,
your
that-
best bet right there is shutting down the first half and just let him pitch second.
yeah, that's how he goes. I mean, if you pitch him first half, he's worn out by the second.
Oh, yeah.
But the Mets have a good cast of supporting characters in the starting rotation, and then they got Edwin Diaz out of the pen, and their lineup has been good enough. The problem, the reason Fried struggled is because he faced off against Scherzer, and Strider has been great all year, but he got picked apart by the umpiring and by the Mets lineup. Who, the first batter he faced had like 8 or 9 pitches, and it was
Yeah.
downhill from there. So
Yeah.
it's just the Mets have a way of battling. And, they lead the league, I want to say, in foul balls. And when you have that, when you have the ability to battle in an at-bat, you really can put damage on not only a team, but the starting rotation as a whole. You're not going to get quality starts on the Mets, not on a regular basis.
No, you're not.
And
Definitely not.
when you don't get quality starts out of all 5 of your pitchers, you're not set up for success. Your bullpen is stretched. I will say that I think it was great that they didn't go wasting the bullpen pieces. They put in Bryce Elder to eat those innings. They put in Jackson Stevens to eat those innings. They didn't throw Matzik out there down 3 runs, right?
I'll say
they
that
managed to save
that's the smartest decision you can do right there is accept, hey, this might not be our day, There's always the chance. Plus, those are actually solid starters that can hold it right where it's at.
Yeah.
Much like Tomlin used to went before Tomlin, obviously, age got to him, right?
Or even Jesse Chavez. I mean,
Chavez, for one, he's solid. I mean, yeah.
But Bryce Elder is a guy who I think has a bright future in a Braves uniform. He's probably our best pitching prospect. I would say that would, outside of Kyle Muller, who would be next in line. I think that spot probably would have gone to Kyle Muller had Muller been healthy.
Right.
But I look at it right now, and with Ian Anderson down, I look at Bryce Elder. If Odorizzi doesn't work out, who's next?
Well, this is where I've got to ask you, because you said that Anderson was on his way down, but I thought I read something that he's already been optioned.
He has been optioned, but he is on the taxi squad.
He's on the taxi squad because of the doubleheader, so the 26, yeah.
They are planning on him pitching one of those games, if I'm not mistaken. That is what I've read. That's what I've heard. So they're planning on him pitching one of those games while on the taxi squad, getting one more start out of him, and then he will be sent to Gwinnett.
Depending on that start per se,
No,
or that may just be for. He's going to Gwinnett regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, the transactions happen. He's going to Gwinnett whether he likes it or not, no matter what the start looks like. Now, if he throws a no-hitter, he may get option back.
Okay, there we go. Well, let me ask you this. Had he gotten out of that inning where he'd, what was it? Was it the third inning or the fourth the other day?
I'm not sure exactly, but
it was the
if
fifth.
he had gotten out of that inning, I think they're the general trend with Ian Anderson was negative. Now, had he had a great day, you may have seen another week, given and seeing where the next one looks like. But we just haven't seen that turnaround. We just have not seen it. And that's the key there is he can't – the problem with Ian Anderson, and it's been like this ever since he came up. This is not a new problem. He's having a lot of newer problems this year. They're starting to show more. But the problem has been length for Ian Anderson. Last year in the NLCS, I want to say he threw 4 innings before he got taken out.
That's right, actually.
I was there, and it was the right call. But all year, I mean, how many times has he thrown 5 innings, 4 2/3, and got taken out? And that puts pressure on the pen. I look at that Odorizzi deal, and I can't help but think, man, they really want length right now. They're really craving length, and it's because that bullpen has been so overworked.
It really has.
AJ Minter, who is a great reliever, is having the best year of his career. You would not know it because he is not set up for success.
No, he's not.
Tyler Matzik has struggled this year, but you have to set those guys up to succeed, and when they're thrown out there every day, you're not going to be able to.
Well, I mean, Max is going deeper into his starts. Wright's looking like, well, I mean, we can all say it. He's looking like a Cy Young contender. Him and Max. Strider looks like Rookie of the Year candidate, except in the last start. But what I'm going to say is, like, with the Mets, I like how Showalter has actually started working with this team. You look at the way the Mets used to do it, right? It was more of they were strikeout heavy. Like you were talking about, right? You put the ball in play, you drive the pitch count up, you get into the opponent's bullpen. Their hitting coaches have definitely been working with him a little more. They used to go down a lot easier.
Yeah. Showalter, like I said, is a real deal. He's a real deal manager. Brian Snitker's the real deal manager.
Oh, yes, he is.
These are two, this series didn't show it, but these are two very competitive teams, very good teams. I think these are two teams that can both be seen that both will be seen in October.
Yes.
And I think these are two teams that could face off in October. And with that said, every game, I said this tonight, every game is pivotal. And every game, I think, for the Braves for the next 52, which would be the end of the season, the next 52 games, I don't care if it's Miami, I don't care if it's New York, every game is that important. And if you're going to catch up on a 6.5 game lead, you got to start now.
Yes, you do. And first of all, I mean, it always seemed like to me that the teams we should beat were the teams we always didn't at the beginning of the season. Then we go on an amazing run, right? But best case scenario, they have got to go at least maybe, if I take a wild guess, I say 38-14 to take the crown.
I don't know what the exact number is, because the Mets do have a habit of tanking, even though I don't think they're that team.
They're not doing it this year.
They're not doing it this year. They're built to stand.
They've got team chemistry now and a leadership that's actually has control of the clubhouse.
But you never know what kind of challenges could be thrown at them. If the Braves have, if they come to Atlanta next week and they get swept, right? Let's just don't think it's going to happen, but let's just argue the idea that it could. The Braves at that point, if they played it tomorrow, would be 2.5 games. That's a completely different situation.
Oh, that's a different situation, massively.
It can flip on a dime. So, we'll see what happens at the end of the year. The Mets certainly have the advantage, but they also had the advantage last year. And
what were we, 5.5 back about this point?
Yeah, crazier things have happened.
And then we went on the West Coast run, right?
So, we'll see. But, it's not. If the Braves continue to play like they are, it's not going to happen. I think, I mentioned this tonight as well, I think the key problem in the lineup, if there's one guy that is the problem, it's Marcel Ozuna, without a doubt.
I've been saying that for a while myself, actually.
It's been a common thread all year, and we've had other guys who have struggled. Eddie Rosario struggled because of the eyesight. Acuna's had a slump. But Marcel Ozuna has consistently stayed the exact same, has not adjusted, has not tried to adjust, has not made any effort to adjust, and he looks the same. If the book on him is that he can't hit low and away, all he's going to see is low and away, and he swings over the top of it every single time.
All right, for instance,
I've said the same thing about Duvall, so it's not just Ozuna, but Ozuna is the one that's still here, and he's going to make an adjustment if he's going to be a significant player in this team.
Yeah, and definitely, I agree with you 100%. If you look at like Riley, a couple years ago, right? What was the scouting report on it? Where would you throw the ball?
Didn't hit a slider away.
That's right. So what did they do? Throw him the slider away. He found out how to lay off that pitch. Marcel has got to stop going just for it all or going broke, because he's going broke most of the time.
He's got a very violent swing. He hits bad pitching very well. But the problem is, and we saw this in 2020 postseason, when you throw a good pitcher at him, he's lost at the plate. And
I will say his hustle's looking a little better in the last few games. Like, he's not as lackadaisical. He's actually hustling, which is really nice to see.
If he's going to be a leader, he's got to be a leader, right?
Yeah,
and right now that's just not happening. It is encouraging to see guys like Eddie and Acuna break out of that. Mainly Eddie. Acuna, I think we all knew at some point was going to break out. Eddie, I was a little worried about. He got the 2-year deal. The eyesight problems came in. I was a little worried there, not because I didn't think he was trying. I mean, that's,
I didn't think that either.
With eyesight problems, I mean, remember Dan Ugla a few years ago?
Yeah.
He got LASIK. I mean, he just never was the same. So, that kind of thing happens. And,
it does.
So I was worried, genuinely worried about that. I'm glad to see he's comfortable in the box again. Marcel's the one hole that I look at and go, man, he's just consistently an easy out.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, you got Riley looking like a MVP candidate. You got Dansby looking like a superstar, which he is. We've got to re-sign him. But you were talking about saves, which honestly, what's your take on Iglesias? I did get to see some of your live stream, but I didn't get to watch all of it.
So yeah, we were live when that happened. We were, we go live every trade deadline. We try
Yeah.
to, and just to see if nothing happens, it can be kind of somber, but something typically does.
Yeah.
And we were live for that, and when it happened, it's like Marcel Iglesias. Okay, let me go look at this. And the thing that stood out on Baseball Reference, I think, to everybody, was the 4 ERA. Right? Everybody looked at that and said, why on earth would we pay this dude $40 million for the next 3 years?
Yeah.
We just got done with Will Smith. Why are we doing this again? Right? That's what everybody wants to know. The difference is, and this is something Will Smith didn't have, was a live arm. You're talking about a guy that can go up there and throw heat.
Oh yeah, you can.
Which is something that the Braves don't have a ton of. I mean, you got some of it, but Matzik isn't quite throwing as hard as he used to. Mentor can do it. Mentor can do it, but it's a good mix. It's from the right side. You need it in a righty. A lot of people get really picky on trade deals. They're excited for them to happen, but then they get really picky once they do. And it's important to realize that the other team's got to be cool with it too. They got to want what you're offering as well.
Oh, definitely.
We gave up Tucker Davidson. I wasn't necessarily thrilled about that, but I do understand that if we're going to compete this year, it's not going to be with Tucker Davidson. And a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Well, let me tell you this. Basically, I mean, Davidson is an amazing prospect who needs to hone his control a little bit, but yeah. But so do most rookies, right?
Yeah.
But you got Kenley Jensen as your legit closer, right? No offense to Kenley. I respect the heck out of him. He has the second most active saves in the league. I mean, he is a solid pitcher. He is a finesse pitcher because he's not going to pick you off, not with the way his windup is. And he has to throw like that, so he's not going to change that windup anytime soon. He can't pitch from the stretch. So, I mean, you got to have someone that can come in there and do it, and you've got to have Minter more as a setup guy, less as a closer.
I mentioned Minter's having the best year of his career. If you look at Baseball Reference, it's not even close. It's all in the right directions, right? So that's the guy. I don't know when his deal is up, but that's the guy that I'd like. If it's this year, re-sign him because he's set to succeed for a while. That being said, he has been put in a lot of situations that make him. I mean, it makes you forget how good of a year he's having.
Exactly.
It really does. I mean, did you know he's having the best year of his career?
I've seen it. Yeah. This is the 1 year he hadn't been sent down either.
Yeah, a lot of people look at Minter and just forget about him, forget about how good this dude is, and it's because a lot of time. I mean, remember he gave up that big home run a while back. That a lot of times you're in that situation. You've been overworked day after day, inning after inning, and that's because that starts with starting pitching.
Yeah, it does.
And it just hasn't been to his help. So I think Raisel Iglesias was an important move. I wish we would have done a little bit more at the deadline in terms of bullpen. To be honest with you, there were a few picks I had that a lot of people, before the deadline, everybody wants to know, Tyler, who do you think we're gonna go get?
Well, actually, I want to know who did you think? Who were you thinking?
So I went looking, and my primary focus was bullpen. I would have loved to have gotten Anthony Bass from the Marlins. I think he would have been affordable. And if you could have got Anthony Bender thrown in there, his stats don't look great right now, but I think he's a reliever of the future. That would have been nice, depending on what prospect package you wanted to send back.
Exactly.
Aside from that, David Robertson, who the Phillies got from the Cubs, would have been great.
Yeah.
He's a right-hander, closer. But in terms of position players, the one guy I had circled, and I think the Braves were in on him, was Ian Happ. I mean, this is a guy who can play second base for Ozzy Albies and can move to left field in platoon with Rosario. So,
that would have been a guy I went after.
I think they went after him, but the Cubs, probably either wanted too much or just decided, nope, we're not getting rid of him. Which, I don't run Chicago, so I don't understand that mindset. But
well, I mean, honestly, I'd love to have had Hap. But Arcia is actually doing a pretty solid job spelling Ozzy. So you wouldn't really want to waste the draft capital almost.
Sure, he's not really the issue there.
You're more on the outfield part of it.
But he can play second base.
Yeah, he can play second.
And he could have platooned with Rosario. Now Grossman, I'm kind of cool with. I like Grossman, especially with the splits against lefties. Ironically, everybody talks about how good he is versus lefties. His first 2 hits are against righties.
That is funny.
Yeah, I mean, dude had like a 364 average versus lefties. He had a 205 batting average, but 364 versus lefties coming on to the Braves.
Dude, that's impressive.
To platoon with Rosario, it makes sense. It's not a guy I would have picked, but it makes sense.
Honestly, when it was mentioned, I was like, I don't know about that one. And then I looked at the splits, and I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So I like that move. There's not really a move I don't like necessarily. You know, my brother, he follows the Braves. He didn't like the move that made us lose Trey Harris. I think it was for Adrianza. He didn't like that move at all. Even though he likes Adrianza, he's like, Trey Harris is supposed to be this legit prospect. And I was like, well, he was in 2019 when he was hitting 320 and had homers. But he's a prospect. He had his.
He was like 244, and was it Double-A?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Double-A, right?
He wasn't going to be a part of the Braves' future.
No,
so I was okay with losing him to someone like the Nationals, where this dude might play one day.
Exactly.
But he, at one time the dude was hitting 320. And it took a major fall, which 320 and in the minors was never going to translate to 320 in the majors, but there was potential there, and I think we've moved past that time. So I was okay with that deal. No knock on Trey Harris, but I definitely getting Adrianza, who could be a bench bat, played multiple positions, especially down Ozzy Albies until who knows when. I thought it was a good pickup, solid pickup. And I think
he doesn't have a great batting average right now, but he's also not getting a lot of at bats either. So
I think it was more so not only for depth, but that was early on in the trade deadline, leading up to the trade deadline. That was preparation. I think Robbie Grossman was a preparation move. It was a just in case, let's go ahead and land this guy in case we don't get anything else.
I mean, hey, there were rumors out there that we were going after Jock again, which would make kind of sense.
Absolutely, it makes sense. You could platoon him if you wanted to in some form or fashion. But Jock would have been nice, especially at that time. Rosario was still struggling heavily.
Yeah.
And Jock, the Giants aren't competing. They started selling. They sold everybody but Jock and Rodon. Still
don't understand that one, really, honestly.
I think they still think they can compete next year, and they think they can re-sign Jock. But Jock was a free agent, so I don't know why.
Why not just trade him back?
I don't understand it. It would have been nice to have a Jocktober return. I think we all would have supported it. He's having a good year. But at the same time, that's the Giants' choice too. So that's the difficulty. That's the difficulty of being a general manager, is having to deal with other general managers. So
and luckily we got a good one.
Yeah, we do. And a lot of people tend to forget that in times like these when they don't get exactly what they want out of a deadline.
Exactly.
I had to remind so many people. I was like, you might not like every deal that happens, but every deal makes sense. I said this tonight. I said, how many of you remember 2020 where we couldn't get a starting pitcher if we paid for it? We couldn't get anybody. We went and got Robbie Erlin and Tommy Malone. You remember that?
I remember that.
They were around 3 days. They were not there very long at all. It's because we didn't have Soroka. We had no starting pitching. There was no starting pitching in the market. So we went to the Orioles, of all places, to get Tommy Malone.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody forgets that. We have seen far worse trade deadlines.
No, we definitely have.
This is a good one. This is a solid.
This wasn't a bad one. I never said it was a bad one. I mean, Odorizzi's a solid choice. Grossman makes sense. And I've actually always liked Iglesias. So
a lot of people after last year, after what was probably the greatest trade deadline ever.
It really was.
It's certainly in the conversation at minimum. You literally get Jock Peterson, who was Jock Peterson last year.
Jolace,
Eddie Rosario, who became.
and then you got Soler.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about who would have been the NLDS MVP and Jock Peterson.
Right.
Eddie, who was the LCS MVP, and then the World Series MVP and Soler.
And Soler, yeah.
All of those guys came at the trade deadline.
And you managed to get Duvall back.
And
for
Duvall.
minimal return.
And Richard Rodriguez, who a lot of people overlook. A lot of people overlook Richard. He didn't make it to the World Series, but that dude steadied the pen. He
did.
Steadied the bullpen. And it was probably the greatest trade deadline ever. We'll see how it's remembered, but I thought it was solid.
I know it'll be definitely in this part of the country remembered very fondly. But guys, let's take a quick break for a second, and we'll come back and finish the show. Hey guys, and welcome back, man. So let's talk about where we can go going forward. What's your opinion, Tyler?
All right, well, we're 6.5 games back from the Mets. You got 7 games with them left. 4 next week, 3 at the tail end of the season. Those have to be like at least competitive, because 4 out of the 5 games we just played were not competitive. The only one that we won wasn't even competitive. It was 13-1. So they got to be competitive games for the Braves if they're going to win. That being said, that starts with starting pitching. It starts with the offense, putting the ball in play, and maybe a little luck too, sure. But at the end of the day, they got to cut down on strikeouts. They got to cut that down. They got to go longer in games. You know, I don't know what the answer is in dealing with the Mets lineup. They've just been really good this year. But, you know, maybe the Braves lineup needs to be really good too. You know, maybe they got to cut down the strikeouts and help their pitchers out. But that being said, this is a winnable division. I still believe. We were just where we are. You know, the Mets seemed just as unbeatable last year as they do this year. So let's just go with it, see how it goes, be optimistic, and I think we'll be all right.
I mean, honestly, I'm not exactly an expert on this kind of stuff, but just from the stuff that I've seen, the thing that the weakest link in the chain that I'm seeing is closing pitchers.
Once again, I think we kind of addressed that area a little bit. Kenley is a great pitcher when he has no one on base. Once again, I've stated that. But once he gets someone on base, it's free reign. You could take second and third, possibly home. I like Kenley Jensen. Like I said, I have nothing but mad respect for the guy. I mean, amazing. The longevity, his career's been amazing. But when did he institute that part of the windup, Tyler?
That I don't know.
It hadn't always been there. It has not always been there, because he used to have a pretty wicked pickoff move at one point.
I mean, he's gotten older. That's
I know you have to do things to adjust for your age.
The heart condition,
that does help too,
evolving the game. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when it started. I know he was with the Dodgers when it did. That would be a hard guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen Kenley a lot.
We have,
over the years, and we know how good he can be. We've seen him be good this year. So, I mean, I think a guy like Kenley is going to be a lot like Will Smith in the sense of crunch time, the best time. Does that make sense? I think that's his goal here.
Definitely.
But, that being said, we still have a regular season to get through. So
we do.
We'll see. Hopefully Marcel Ozuna will be the guy that helps us get through.
Exactly. And I think getting him takes pressure off of Matzik and Minner. And you said Elders. I happen to have missed that because I hadn't been able to watch the game. A lot of the games here in the last few days.
They brought him up as the extra for the doubleheader.
For the doubleheader. That's why I didn't see it.
Unless he's still up, I'm not sure. But they brought him up for the extra, which I like using him because it's like, well, if we're down 4 or 5 runs, why not throw him out there?
Might as well.
Who cares if we lose a game in Gwinnett?
Exactly right.
But yeah, I thought that was a smart move by Snit to let him eat some innings there.
Definitely. I mean, what I'd like to see more of course, is, I mean, do you feel Ronnie's done enough to actually stay in the leadoff spot?
That's a good question. A lot of people talk about this. Literally, I'm looking at a comment that just went across my screen about this. People comment all the time, they want Michael Harris to move up in the lineup. Michael Harris, I think, is on any other team is a leadoff hitter. I think he's that type of hitter. I think he gets on base a lot. I think he's a contact guy. Ronald Acuna is not a typical leadoff hitter. He's been great in that spot for the past few years. He loves that spot. He usually thrives in that spot. But, you got to fit the need of the team. I'm not necessarily against or for him staying. I think that's up to Snit, whatever he wants to do. But if I was building a team on MLB The Show, I know who would be leadoff, and that would be Michael Harris.
There's no doubts about that, sir. No doubt.
Acuna is a middle of the lineup bat. And you put him behind Ozuna, or you put Ozuna behind Acuna, you could be in for some success. Because as good as Dansby has been, I'm more apt to pitch around Ozuna than I am Dansby Swanson if I'm a big league pitcher.
I mean, what would you say? And this is just me personally. I would say Harris, Swanson, Riley, probably Acuna, Ozuna.
No, not quite. You're missing a key guy there, Olson. I'd probably go Harris. Harris.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Harris.
Yeah.
I'd go Harris, Swanson, Olson, Riley.
I feel like an idiot for saying that, man. I'm telling you.
It's all good. It's all good. I hate to call you out, but
you have to call me out, man, because I was wrong.
You missed my buddy. But yeah, I'd probably put them in the top 4 and then go from there.
Dude, I'm telling you though, Olson. What you said last time, we got the better end of the trade, dude. I love Freddie. No disrespect to a man that brought us the championship, but Olson has one, he's younger. Two, he has the potential. Honestly, man, and he's a good old Georgia native. Now, I may not be from Georgia. I'm from North Carolina, but
he's going to be well liked in Georgia for a long time.
Absolutely.
He's a hometown kid and all that.
Exactly.
Had Freddie stayed, nobody would have complained.
Oh, absolutely not.
I would have loved it.
I still wear that man's shirt constantly. I
thought it was a given that he was coming back. I know we keep coming back to this, but it was just really surprising when that happened. And, I still think there was some shenanigans involved, and I'll stand by that until they tell me otherwise. I completely stand by that, 100%. The way it seems right now, that's the case, and I hate that it went down that way. I'm glad that the bridge has been rebuilt between the Braves and Freddie Freeman. I thought it was a matter of time, but I think the Braves did the business decision there, and they were right to do it. It was the better decision. They got more years out of it. And when you see Riley get signed for 10 years, you want him to be surrounded by guys that are going to be good for that amount of time. Olson's going to be around for 8 of those. So, or 7 or 8 of those.
Exactly.
Albies is locked up till 2026. Acuna's locked up till 2027 or 28. So all these guys are going to be together. So people hate it when I say this. Don't worry about this year.
No.
All right?
No.
Worry about this year. Enjoy this year.
Yeah.
But you are built to succeed long term. This is the closest thing to the 90s Braves as I've seen the entire time I've been alive.
I know, man, but I will tell you this. I'd still like to see that consecutive run of NL East goes.
Me too.
But it ain't everything. Making the playoffs is what matters. That's the only thing that matters. Because anything can happen in October.
Leo Mazzoni told me that 14 straight will never happen again.
That's because it never will. Ever. In any sport. Ever.
I don't think the Braves are going to be able to do that. I mean, because a lot of people forget just how hard winning the division is. This year, if nothing else, this year should be a reminder to everybody, hey, what we just did for the past 4 years was hard. It was difficult. It's supposed to be difficult. And I think everybody just got a big smack in the face of reality and got woken up to that. Because once you win one, more is expected.
Well,
it ain't easy.
It always has been, though, and we went to the, we won it in 95. 96 rolls around. We should have won it.
We had a lot better teams.
We did.
Year. 91, 96.
Oh, yeah.
'99. We had better teams.
Well, the '99 team, actually it was better than the Yankees. We just did not perform well in the World Series. And then we went through that 16-year stretch where we couldn't get out of the first round. I mean, but you look at it that way, man. We've been blessed as a fan base, man. We've been lucky because we've had so much great baseball to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
You may not always end with that championship, but it's always a good season.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys. So, Tyler, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate you. And Nick, as always, thanks for your time as well. We're definitely going to have to do it again soon, dude. And, guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, well, Tyler, if you got something to say, go ahead, man.
I read a comment last time I was on here, if you don't mind. They were asking about my autograph collection.
Yes.
So I'm going to do y'all a solid, and I'm going to pull one down.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I don't show everybody this stuff.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Picked this up a while back. Ronald Acuna, game model, signed, certified, and all the good stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice.
So there's. I guess I'll just show a piece every time I come on, since y'all are asking about the collection. But
Absolutely. Every time you come on, we got to see a piece, man.
Yeah.
I got more than that, but
Hey,
that'll be for tonight.
Next time, I'm going to show you my Warren Spahn card and my daggum Hank Aaron card.
They're back there. That's all the Braves Hall of Famers. That's Eddie Matthews, Hank.
Oh, man. You got
all those
Necro?
guys. Oh yeah, I interviewed Necro. I got more
Really?
stuff. I have a letter. I guess we're talking about this now. Phil was like friends with me. Okay, like
Yeah.
no joke. Like I interviewed him. I rode around the golf cart with him, stuff like that. And I met him in high school. I sent him a letter. He sent one back on a Hall of Fame postcard, and it's nice. It's handwritten and all that, and it's framed over there. It's one of my favorite pieces. But it's not worth money necessarily. But I mean, that's a letter from a Hall of Famer.
Dude, he's a legend, man. I mean, and that is a beautiful memory. I am jealous, dude.
That's pretty
And that's
cool.
awesome, man.
Yeah, you can find that interview. It's not very good quality, but it's on the channel somewhere.
Okay. Well, hey,
yeah,
I'll tell you
Phil
this.
was
Now, I live close to another Braves legend. May not be a Hall of Famer, right? But he is beloved by the Braves around here, at least. Kevin Millwood.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Millwood's the nicest guy you will ever meet, man. He is really just a very nice, humble guy. And, my cousin played against him. He played for Cherryville High, and Millwood played for Bestman, right? And my cousin didn't take an L to him either.
Millwood was pretty good, I guess.
Oh no, he was a solid man. He had a good career. Was Hall-worthy? Maybe not, but
He was
a
player,
solid pitcher.
for
And he's
sure.
a solid guy, actually. But anyways,
A
thanks
lot
for
of those
coming on.
guys are.
What's that?
A lot of those guys are. I mean, you just get to know them. They're super nice.
Oh yeah, dude. And honestly, we would love to get to know some of the players, man, because every one of them seemed just like awesome. But it's kind of hard to get to know people when you're out here in the sticks. You know what I mean?
Understood.
All right, buddy. Thank you for coming on, man. It's been a blast. And to our viewers and to the people that are viewing us that haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. And give us a like. Give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see any specific content, leave a comment in the comment section. And check out Tyler over on Braves on Deck, man. His channel is absolutely amazing. And as always, go Braves and chop on.
Later.